Alright guys, CWL here again today, and a lot of news happened yesterday, or a lot of drama really around a lot of the different matches, and of course we also have the pool play being confirmed for CWL Anaheim, which we'll go through at the end of the video, but only very briefly. I do want to do a longer video on my predictions in the coming days. So let's just hop right into it here. So many matches yesterday, so many game 5s that it's worth cracking on right away. So yeah, like if you guys enjoy it, subscribe if you're new as always, and let's hop right into it here. A couple of things before we start. Accuracy announced himself as an unrestricted free agent of this Splice team, so it does look it does look like they're not looking to bring him back anytime soon, and they're happy with Nelson in the team as it is right now. So Accuracy is looking for a new squad. Where he will end up is difficult to say, because how many teams are really looking for a main assault rifle right now? Hard to say. We'll just have to see how it goes. Okay, before we begin, I wanted to say this about CoD Gamepedia. Gamepedia Nick, who's effectively run the account and it's been his baby for years. The Call of Duty Gamepedia account, 33,000 followers and counting. It was suspended yesterday. I did talk about it in the pinned comment of yesterday's video, and now he has got a message from Twitter saying, you probably can't read this, but we're writing to let you know we've permanently suspended your account due to multiple violations of our rules. I looked through the rules. The only thing I can possibly see it could have been violating is the spam rule, and it's really not spam if a human was actually looking at it and saying, okay, well, clearly these are just like updates, but because they were templated and only the picture was different, then I think it probably thought it was spam. So horrible stuff really. The account is apparently going to be permanently suspended. Please do not reply to this email, as new appeals for the account will not be monitored. Ideally we can get in contact with an actual human to sort this out, but I don't have too much faith right now. Therefore, I would highly recommend, I'll link this down below, Nick set up another account called _Gamepedia, which already has 1,000 followers. So yes, if you guys want to follow this and get it up to speed to make sure you don't miss any of the news, the updates will be continuing on this channel. So would highly recommend it. I'll leave this linked down below, and hopefully I'll inform you guys if and when we get the other account back, but I'm not particularly faithful right now. So let's hop right into things here then. So map number 1, it was Joe Pennington and his boys versus Enigma 6. These stats courtesy of Kamal, and as always leave his links down in the description box below. Denial go up 2-0 in the series. Brack has a great couple of maps here. Rated plays well as well. I mean, after this series it was really about what Rated was saying on Twitter, because they go up 2-0 in the series, pretty comfortable here. Joe does very well in the search and destroy. Probably put a nice 1v2 of his on screen right now. And then Enigma 6 start bringing it back. They win the control relatively comfortably. Take map number 4 as well, 250 to 189. And then game 5, it was all the way to around 11. And Bance gets a fantastic Kobe with the grenade over the top. Takes down 2 guys on Enigma 6. I know that GodRx was one of them. And yeah, they win the round as a result. So yeah, Brack goes 12-7. Great map from Bance as well. He really does like this sniper on this Arsenal map, and it seems to be working kind of wonders for him. So yeah, that grenade was huge, and yeah, they win the game 6-5. Not too much more you can say about that. These are the final series standings here, and yeah, honestly, pretty impressive performances. Alex doesn't really do that much, but the rest of the guys on Denial or Not Denial or Joe Pennington or Team Pennington were pretty damn consistent today. And the real big news here, or not necessarily the big news, but the real big drama is that Rated and Kismet don't particularly get along. And I know that in scrims, Kismet is always like, Rated's been talking about Kismet like shoots their bodies in scrims and stuff. So he says that weird that 7k scrim Kismet, implying like he drops 7k damage in scrims, doesn't appear today. He must be ill. GG's E6 won the wooden spoon. I think that is to do with their placing. Just need to add some maps to our map pool, and I don't think we're too bad. And then, he does some more tweets about the actual state of the current team, because it's not looking too pretty for their team right now. Brack could literally drop a 0.1 over the series and people would still say he's a one-man team. And I'm not dumb. I know we need to be playing better for Carson. That's Brack, because he's the ultra carry, but people are still idiots. My S&D, KD, etc, etc. And then he likes tweeting, does Rated. So yeah, then he says, now back to my apartment and into a tens lobby. Tens have become my happy place. Times have changed. Trust me, I hated them up until these 2 rosters. Teams not caring about winning or losing as a team and not wanting to play with each other has ultra kills my vibe and sent me into the shadow realm. Might as well run it back for playoffs and jams. Talking about, of course, the team with Josh before got to the grand finals of CWL Atlanta. Going to be a couple openings here soon, more than likely. Very interesting indeed. We have this from the Intel Call of Duty account, and he replies to it saying, "The vibes are perfectly fine out of game, all super good friends, just business vibes are all over the place for all the idiots responding to this saying my teams always have that problem," and this is a comment he leaves on Reddit. "That would be assuming there was team chem in the first place. Team doesn't care about winning or losing together, not watching VODs. Literally the vibe is no one cares, so I will reflect the same vibe back." So it's not looking too good for Denial. Hopefully they can put something together for Anaheim and get, some sort of run going. But of course, Brack is going to have offers from many other teams. It may be the case where right now this team's not performing. He doesn't really fancy his time on this squad because he's definitely going to be able to move to an Envy or another squad like that if he so chooses post Anaheim. And I think he'd probably make that decision if they do not perform particularly well. They're going to need to do very, very well indeed. So I thought that was interesting. Let's move on to the next series of the day. Elevate versus Team Envy. And Envy take map number 1, 250 to 184, and then it all kind of falls apart for them. They lose the search. Their search and destroy is just tragic. I cannot believe what I'm watching. Like, how is Decimate going to 1 and 8 in search? Like, are you taking the piss, mate? Like, these guys, it's full of search stars. Hook is obviously a very good search player. Aches actually isn't that bad at search, but you're not expecting him to do that much. Silly's been pretty damn good at search over the years. And then you've got Decimate and Ferro, who you are expecting to be popping off every single map. They get smoked here by Elevate. Then, the control, they lose that as well. They had a couple of chances here, but yeah, they get blown out of the water in control. Ferro goes 8 in 14. And then we have map 4. They do manage to win it 250 to 204, but it really does take Hook absolutely dominating them. Like, hard carry Hook was back in town fully this map, and not really surprising, considering Hook is going to do this at least once a series. He's going to have a map where he just dominates it. 6k damage out of him. They win the map, go into the last game, and yes, well, it did actually go 6-5 in favour of Elevate. It hasn't been written up by here by Cam. But this map, they played a little bit better. Like, Decimate went even. But even then, like, the fact that you've got these players in your team and you're not able to win a single search. They've lost 9 S&Ds in a row, ladies and gents. 9 in a row. This was a game 5, round 11. Pretty tragic. These are the overall series scoreboards. Of course, Hook just dominating with 86 kills. Everyone else not doing anything at all. Like, you expect Aches to drop, like, a 0.8 or whatever. But the rest of the guys to drop those numbers is just tragic. Like, and yeah, this team's not playing well at all. Let's not beat around the bush. They do win both hard points, but on this form, they're not going to be particularly good at Anaheim. So I'd keep that in mind when we have a look at the pools at the end of this video. This is a tweet from JP. Envy has now tied Evil Geniuses for the longest search and destroy losing streak in the CWL this year at 9 maps straight. And I think JP said that last year the Evil Geniuses squad, which of course also had Aches and Bevels as coach, went on I think a 12 S&D losing streak or something very, very close. Which is pretty crazy, right? Because last year they had that crazy losing streak around Seattle time and their search and destroy was horrible. And then, well, before Seattle, and then Bevels really took a hard look at their search and destroy, came up with some really new strats. And then their search and destroy improved drastically. They came second at Seattle and then went on to win the World Championship. Now, whether that's even possible this year, considering the game isn't as strategical, we'll have to see. But it does set a similar precedent. So basically, what I'm saying is, Paddy P's winning champs. Okay, so moving on to the next series, E United versus Heretics. This is a fun one, really fun one. E United, this first map was incredibly close, really down to the wire. Sim went off, but yeah, I mean, actually, Pristini was the one that went off this map. He was frying. I could not believe what I was seeing. Like I mentioned it yesterday. If Pristini can continue performing, this team is super, super scary. And, well, he was, in this map at least. The next couple of maps, not as good, but map number 1, he was absolutely frying. Like 7k damage, you can't complain about that. Game 2, Heretics took it in around 11, so very much back and forth. Metal's here performing very well indeed. And yeah, I think E United said on Twitter they've been playing some maps that they're not usually so comfortable with, trying some different things out. So definitely makes sense that they can drop a few maps here, but they still managed to win this series and take the 7-0 record from the split, winning every single series from the split, even trying out maps where they may be not too particularly comfortable on. So impressive stuff. And then of course the Tiny Terror, Simp and Abizi, both double positive, running through the control. They take that one. And then game 4, Heretics actually do and manage to win this one, just off the back of some great individual performances. That's what you kind of expect out of Heretics. You're not expecting these numbers to be the same for all the players by any means. You're looking at Journey 30 and 16 and 6.5k damage. You're like, wow, okay, fair play. Simp only has 3k damage, and that's probably not going to win you a map. But then game 5, the third game 5 of the day, E United take it 6-2. really interesting because this is a trend we've seen quite a lot, really, how Heretics have been great in Game 5s, but I always feel like when it's an E United or 100 Thieves, I'm always going to favour them in a Game 5, just off the experience and off the back of that. So, yeah, Heretics honestly played a very good series here on the whole. These are the final series scoreboards. Let's not get too ahead of ourselves. Hopefully they don't make another role change. I think Pac-Man was right on the desk saying, you know, they just need to stick through it. And I think they've played very well here on the whole this week. It's just whether they can perform on the main stage at a real event is still, you know, the contentious issue, because they can definitely do it at LAN at the Pro League. Whether they can translate that into performing in front of a crowd when the pressure's on has yet to be seen. So hopefully we can see them make a bit of a run at Anaheim. Okay, so moving on to the final series of the day, we had 100 Thieves versus Splice. Lovely colours here. And yes, 100 Thieves just crushed it, to be honest. They played absolutely superb once again. Like, they'd beaten Elevate yesterday in a 3-0 fashion, and today they just mollywopped Splice, really. A close at times. Temp had a couple of just unbelievable plays in the first map, but yeah, Slasher at the end just completely went off. Octane was playing much better as well than he did do a couple of days ago, and really all cylinders were firing on 100 Thieves, and that is a very scary prospect indeed. They won the Search and Destroy with 4 rounds in a row. This was Payload again. They won that yesterday against Elevate 6-1. Really seem to have got their strats down now, so yeah, if their Search and Destroy is improving, I still would say right now 100 Thieves are the best team in the game. Of course, they've lost to United this week, so you can put them, they're definitely up there, and of course Optic Gaming, we haven't seen quite where they are, but I think 100 Thieves has still got to be there for now, especially the way they performed today against a very strong looking Splice. And then in game number 3, it did come down to the wire. 100 Thieves won it in a very final round. Slasher had 40 kills. Slasher's been that guy this year where he's kind of been under the radar a little bit, because people have been talking about, well, Octane and Priester and, Kenny as well, and some people are even saying Slasher's like the 4th best player on this team. Enable's obviously 5th, but he's pretty happy with that because, he's been playing very well today as well. But honestly, I rate Slasher very, very highly. I think that he was completely crushing it today. He seems to be improving throughout the season as well. And yeah, a 40 bomb. He has 8k damage in the control, man. 8k. Mind-blowing. Okay, so that's the stuff, and we'll go into the pool play in just a second here. So yeah, these are the overall series standings. 1.41 overall AKD from Slasher, 1.4 from Octane. If these are your 2 ICRs, that, well, okay, sometimes it was a Maddox, sometimes it was an ICR for Slasher, always an ICR in the hands of Mr. Samuel LaRue. And yes, if Enable's dropping a 1.2, then it is chalked for the other team, let's put it that way. So yeah, impressive stuff. Splice, I think, is still a pretty decent squad. I didn't expect them to put up too much of a fight today against 100 Thieves, all things considered, with them being a relatively new team, and 100 Thieves being pretty damn nasty. So let's see what the pool play shaped up to be. I honestly think these pools are pretty damn good overall, in terms of, I don't think there's really a particular pool of death. Let's look at Pool A then. Optic, Heretics, Evil Geniuses, Denial. So pretty well balanced, I think, overall. I think a couple of these teams are pretty damn good. I think Heretics and EG are pretty good. Obviously, Optic are fantastic. And Denial maybe can sneak their way in there. Pool B, E United, Reciprocity, Elevate, and UIU. Honestly, pretty well matched as well. It's a similar story to Pool A, really. In Reciprocity and Elevate probably could go either way, but I don't think UIU will be that competitive right now. Then you've got Pool C, FaZe, Splice, Midnight, Enigma 6. This might be like a secret pool of death, to be honest, because Midnight could be very, very good on their day. I think FaZe and Splice are very good teams, and I think Enigma 6 are very competitive and could probably take a couple of these top teams to a Game 5. This is my underlying pool of death, dark horse pool, which could be very spicy and enjoyable to watch. So I think Midnight could be good on their day as well. And then we've got Pool D, of course, which most people, their eyes gravitate towards and say, like, wow, pool of death, like all these big name teams, which is fair enough. 100 Thieves, champions of the last event. Gen G, of course, the 100 Thieves up to beat 3-2. That to reverse sweep them in the CWL London winners semis in order to make the grand finals. But Gen G in the league haven't been doing so well. And then you've got Envy and Luminosity, who have been playing horribly, to be honest, in the league the last couple of weeks. So on current form, I don't even think Pool D is that tough to call. I'd probably say that 100 Thieves are definitely getting out, and then I'd say that Gen G are probably getting out, but could definitely get upset by Envy. And if Luminosity are playing without Gunless, then it's going to be tough. But I will go through these pools in more detail in the coming days. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like if you did, subscribe if you're new as always. Thank you guys so much for watching as always, and I will see you next time.
Defend the objectives. next round.